What's up, you guys? So I'm here on my boy TeamSamuraiX1's channel, here to bring you guys a 60-card Paleozoic deck profile for the March 31st format. Big shout out to my brother Sam. Thank you, bro, for letting me come here on the channel to profile this deck for you. He's very big on producing like the best deck profiles, and I hit him up saying, yo, I got 60-card Paleo, let's show him what's going on. This, you guys, is arguably the #1 most played deck right now. It's kind of crazy the way the format has shifted. With Zoo taking a slight hit, Paleozoic has risen to be the best deck after winning Atlanta and winning Prague. A lot of people have decided that this is the deck they want to play. Totally Awesome is, you know, just crazy, and its Zoo matchup is ridiculous, and its ability to just counter everything is crazy. So I'm here to profile for you guys a very generic 60-card build that you will see at pretty much any high-level tournament, and this will let you guys know what to expect and how to counter it, besides Denko Seka. So we're going to get into it real quick. So it is 60 cards. We'll start with the monsters. Have to break it down since there's so many cards. But we'll start with the basics. So every single Paleozoic deck is going to play 3 Swap Frog, 3 Dupe Frog, only 2 Rodentotons. You can play the third if you want, but a lot of people feel that 2 is all you need. You do play the Grass is Greener, of course, but the ability to just use 2 of the Toads, that's usually what you want. You can play the third if you want, to mill the third, just to, you know, maybe increase your chances of opening Toad, but in the end, most players decide that 2 is just better. For the rest of the engine, we play 3 copies of Absolute King Backjack. This card is amazing. If you don't know what it does, when it's sent to the graveyard, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck, rearrange them in any order you want. During your opponent's turn, you can banish this card, excavate the top card of your deck. If it's a normal trap, you can set it and activate it the same turn. This card is amazing because you automatically stack your cards, so you know what you're going to get, and it just works so well. Like having a Storming Mirror Force or regular Mirror Force, or having a Paleozoic Dinomischus or Canadia, the Book of Moon, the Karma Cut to interrupt your opponent during their turn is just amazing. This card is fantastic, and it combos really great with Fiend Griefing. And the last monster is one Mathematician. As you guys have seen, we are playing the same lineup as Joshua Smith, who ended up winning YCS Prague. A lot of people have gone with this build. Mathematician is just really good because it lets you send Rodentonen, it lets you send Absolute King Backjack to activate its effect, and it also lets you send an extra frog if you need to do that in order to activate Rodentonen. So this card is great. Plus, when it goes to the graveyard, you draw a card. So that's it for the monsters. It's only 12 monsters. On to our spells. We run just all power spells in this deck, just really good cards. So we play, of course, 3 of that Grass Looks Greener. This card is insane. It has revolutionized the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where everyone is playing 60-card decks now. It might not be as good since everyone's playing 60-card decks, but I mean, you still play it because the card is ridiculous. It works so well in Paleozoic because you have the ability to just mill all your Paleozoics, mill your Lost Winds, add back the Lost Winds when they summon from the extra deck, and trigger your Paleozoics off all your traps. It's just an incredible card. With that, we run 3 Pot of Desires, you know, to dig for cards, and 3 Card of Demise to dig for more cards. Card of Demise is amazing, this format, especially because it's one of the best recovery plays in the game. The ability to just activate the card early on with Pot of Desires and other cards helps you get so far ahead of your opponent. So this card's really, really good. But one thing you need to understand with this card is that you're not going to activate it immediately if you're, you know, specialing your Paleozoics, if you're making your Toads, your Ophimbinias, etc. You want to hold this card to the end when you need it for a recovery play just to blow out your opponent, but it's an absolutely amazing card. And the last card is One Foolish. Again, acting like Mathematician, it can send Backjack, it can send Rodentonen, or it can send a Toad to summon the Rodentonen and make the Totally Awesome. So that's it for our spells. Just 10 really, really strong spells. Now, that was 22 cards, you guys. The rest of the deck is all traps. So we're going to get into it. We'll start with the Paleozoics. So we run 3 Paleozoic Canadia. That is your Book of Moon. Card's amazing. Just being able to turn off Zoo the minute they summon. They just basically end their turn. 3 Dinomischus. This is the Karma Cut. A lot of people I've seen are cutting this card to 2. I like the card at 3 just because you do play Grass. You do have the ability to mill it. It's an extra Paleozoic. People have cut it because they don't like discarding a card, but a lot of times being able to banish something is just a lot stronger than just booking it or getting rid of it. So I really like the card at 3. Probably my favorite Paleozoic is 3, Paleozoic Olenoides. This is the MST, Dust Tornado, whatever you want to call it. Card is so good. Search it off Ophimbina, activate it right from your hand. Start popping back row, start summoning Paleozoics. The card is just great. Along with that, we play 3 copies of Morella. This is your Foolish Burial. In the mirror match, you want to go Morella for Morella. You know, having that 1 extra Paleozoic in the grave is how you win the mirror match. You just outgrind your opponent. So card's really solid. It also sends Lost Wind. And then the last one that we play 2 of is 2 of the Paleozoic, the Leech and, what is it, the Leechalia, whatever you want to call it. It's basically a little Omega. It returns 1 banished card to your graveyard. I've seen some players are bumping this card to 3. It is a card I've considered bumping to 3, but I do like the ratios right now. We run 14 Paleozoics, so that gives us a good enough ratio, you know, to mill them off grass, to resummon them when we activate our traps. And this card's just really solid, but I could definitely see a third one being put in. Other than that, that's all we run for Paleozoics. There aren't any other good ones, so we maximize on just like the good ones. And then, like I said, YUGIOH is something that we might just bump up in the future. On to the other traps, we run, of course, 3 Solemn Strike. And I do run the 1 Warning. Now, a lot of people aren't running Warning. I had a breakthrough skill in here before. I really did like it, but I do like Warning a lot because opening with it, I know the chances of opening it in 60 cards is, you know, not that high, but it's still one of the best trap cards in the game. I feel like having all 4 Solemns in the deck just really has you prepared for pretty much any matchup, especially since Metal Foes are starting to see a lot more play. Being able to Solemn a Pendulum Summon is just amazing. So we do run the full Solemn quartet, or whatever you want to call it. And of course, 3-dimensional barrier, best trap in the game. Basically says your turn's over. So that's it for like our real like power traps. For our defensive traps, I run 3 Storming Mirror Force and 2 regular Mirror Force. Now, if you guys saw Joshua's deck profile from Prague, he ran 3 Quaking. Now, the thing with Quaking is that everyone felt Quaking was the safer option. You just turn everything face down. The problem with that is it doesn't completely deal with the issue. You still have to run over cards. Now, granted, it might be better against Zoo because you just book them. You know, they can't continue their plays. One thing I noticed with Quaking, though, is that I would rather clear the board to just overpower my opponent, and that's why I'm running Storming. This card is just so good because it just bounces everything back. Now, granted, it'll put cards back in their hand, but if they're not running Kaijus, it's not really a problem. I feel that Storming was just really, really strong in testing, but if you don't like Storming, you can run Quaking, you know, depending on what your preference is. Players are even maxing out on regular Mirror Force. This card is just amazing. Just clearing boards is crazy, and players have cut down on my body as a shield, so that and Starlight Road aren't really as much of an issue anymore. So these cards game 1 are just really, really solid. They protect you when you don't have anything else. On to the rest of the traps. 3 Lost Wind. This card is ridiculous. One of the best rares to come out of a Raging Tap. It's just one of the best cards in the game, honestly, right now. Mill it, it's good. Draw it, it's good. It ends Zoo. The card's crazy. 3 Reckless Greed. Card's still good. Just drawing cards is amazing. And then 3 Fiend Griefing. This card's really good. It disrupts the Lunalight combo. It lets you send Backjack. I think that's just crazy. So Fiend Griefing is just a really solid card. It also messes up Emerald, so I really like the card a lot. And then for the last 3 one-ofs, we have, of course, the newly unbanned 1 Imperial Order. Card is crazy in this deck. You don't run that many spells. Granted, you can't turn it off, but honestly, if they can't play spells, you have a Toad on board, you're going to win the game. So, card is insane. And then just 1 Torrential for board clearing, just really solid. In the mirror match, really solid against any other deck. And for the last trap, we want to run Compulse. Compulse is ridiculous. Can just deal with any XYZ at any time. Can help you go for game. You can just activate these cards to trigger your Paleozoics and Grave. It's just very, very solid in this format. So that is it, you guys. That is the 60 cards Paleozoic deck. And we're just going to do the extra deck real quick. Side deck is open to interpretation. The format is still being defined, so stuff you just want to basically side is just stuff that takes care of Denko Sekka, because Denko basically ends you. So you just have to be able to play around that. So breakthrough skill, cards like Dark Hole Raigeki, those are like standard. So for the extra deck, of course, 3 Totally Awesome. This card is ridiculous. I can't believe it's still at 3. One thing that I do, I don't think a lot of players do, is I do run a full set of Ophimbenia. The reason is, in my testing, a lot of players just strike this card. A lot of players just deal with this card, and I just really like this card. I feel that Ophimbenia is like one of the best go-to plays. It can't be targeted. It has 2400 defense. It's thick. You're able to just search your traps, activate them. It's just so solid. So I really like this card. You can choose to play 2 if you want. A lot of players have upped the Sky Cavalry guy, but I just like having 3 Ophimbenia. And then 1 of the Anomal Eclairis. I really like this card. When you do get to make it, you're just so far ahead. Being able to pop a card during the other player's turn, being able to excavate and possibly add a trap to your hand is crazy. So again, it can't be targeted, so I really, really like this card. Then for the rest of the support rank 2s, we got Cat Shark and Phoenix for OTKs. Card's crazy. People don't know, Cat Shark can't die if it has a water monster under it, so that's really cool. Phoenix just goes for game. We run 1 Sky Cavalry. It deals with a lot of problematic monsters. If you don't like running a 3rd Ophimbenia, you can run a 2nd Sky Cavalry. That's what I noticed a lot of players are doing. It's a really solid card. 1 Chroma Logos. You use this to out Jinzo, decree other cards if it comes up. And then 1 F-Zero. You can use this with your dead Ophimbenias and stuff. Card's really solid. solid, just deals with problematic cards. One Downward Magician, when you're grinding in time, you can just put this over Ophenbinia. It becomes like 23, can run over stuff, and it does piercing, so really solid. And then we run one Borbo and one Dryden as the last two XYZs because we do take multiple Zodiac cards, even in this format. We play the Borbo because if you do take an opponent's Dryden, you want to be able to make your own Dryden, so you have to stick a Borbo over it and then a Dryden. Another cool thing with this card is if you do take a Thoroughblade and you put this over it, this can attack directly for 16, so that's just something I thought was really cool. But yeah, that is the deck profile, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to smash that like button if you did. Be sure to visit my channel, Simply Slim YGO. A shout out again to my brother Sam. Keep up the great content, man. He is just, you guys know, he is the freaking man. He is on a roll right now. So I just hope that, you know, he continues, you know, all his success. All these deck profiles are insane. His product openings are always on key. So I hope you guys will continue to support him. Hopefully I'll see you guys over on my channel. If you have any questions about the deck, feel free to leave it in the comments below. If there are things you don't like, feel free to mention that as well. Things that you would change, things that you personally like maybe my ratios aren't what you would play, but tell me what you would play in place of them and why. I feel that this deck is just really solid. It's so good, this format. Paleozoics have always been good, but right now I feel that they're just in their prime because having an added engine of backjack just makes it to where your traps are just always going to connect. So I think that's really, really cool. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a like, and thank you for watching.